Alright, so in this video it's going to kind of be another bonus video, and what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to do a malicious APK file for Android. And if you don't know what an APK file is, when you go to like your Google Play Store, if you have an Android phone or tablet and you download an application, those applications are packed in like this APK file, and so then your package installer will install using that APK, and so it would be like the equivalent of like a Windows exe file, or like a deb file in Linux, similar things. But that's what what Android uses. Now you can use this on any Android operating system, so it doesn't have to be a phone, it doesn't have to be a tablet. It's the operating system itself. So it doesn't matter if it's a phone or a tablet. I'm going to be doing it against my Galaxy Nexus Android phone, and the steps that I've taken, just so you guys know, is I've connected it to my home Wi-Fi, and for Linux here in my Kali machine, I've bridged. There you go, bridged. I bridged this to my host machine so that my Kali machine now is on the same network as my home network. So if I do an ifconfig, I am now on a 192.168.6.66 network, or that's my IP address, but I'm on the .6 subnet. And what you would need to do if you were following along in previous videos is we need to look at our interfaces file and make sure that you hash your lab configuration out. If you did this in previous videos, if you didn't do it, then don't worry about it. But you need to hash all of this out, simply because it's going to request an IP address on the .1 network when I'm on the .6 network. So I hash that out, I save it, and I reboot the Kali machine. And once we've rebooted, now I've got the nice IP address that I need, which is now on my main network. And so what I'm going to do is go to Applications, Kali Linux, System Services, start up your Metasploit services, and start up your Apache server. And we're going to use the Apache server to get the Android phone to download the APK file. So I went ahead and just removed everything in here. Make sure that you navigate to your var/www folder. So if you need to, just cd/var/www. If I do an ls, I've got nothing in there. If you have all your payloads and stuff that you're working on, you may not want to remove everything. I just went ahead and did it just because I want a nice clean directory just to demonstrate the APK stuff. So it's still kind of experimental. It's not beta. It's not like you have to go and download something special like the from Metasploit's website or anything. So they've implemented all of this into Metasploit already. It's just still experimental, because what this is going to do is when I download the APK file and I install it, it actually creates a little Metasploit icon on the Android phone. And so every time I open up that little Metasploit icon, it will do a reverse connection. We're gonna do an MSF payload to make our payload that'll make the APK file. So it's not stealthy or anything like that, but it's just more experimental. It works. It's kind of cool. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So what we're going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and start up the Metasploit console, and over here I'm already in my Apache directory, and we're going to do an MSF payload. It's going to be Android/Meterpreter. There's also a shell, but we're going to do Meterpreter. Reverse TCP. We're going to do our lhost equals 192.168.6.66, which is my L port. I'm just going to do all fours just because we're doing a demonstration, and we're going to use a raw output, and then we can MSF encode it. I haven't actually tried that, but since we're outputting it for the APK file, we have to do a raw output. That's just how it has to work. But because we're doing a raw output, that probably will give you the option to go ahead and do that MSF encode if you choose to do so. For now, for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to go ahead and create the APK file. So I'm just going to call it badandroid.apk. And make sure you name it a .apk. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. Let's go back over here to Metasploit. Alright, good timing there. So what I'm going to do now is I need to set up my listener. And now we have to set the payload. For this case, we have to set the payload because by default it's going to use the Windows Meterpreter. So it will still, even though if it gets the, like if we execute the application, it will still try to send the session, but it's not going to work. It'll still try to send that Meterpreter session over that stage anyways, but it's not going to work. So you need to make sure that you set the payload to an Android Meterpreter reverse TCP. You can also do, if we wanted to, like for example up here, we could have done a shell reverse TCP, but hey, when we can get a Meterpreter session, then that's what we want, normally. At least that's my opinion. So use exploit multi-handler. We're going to set our payload to Android Meterpreter. I just hit tab. Let's see if it loads that up. There we go. I'm going to set my L port 4444. Show options. Alright, I'll set the L host. Alright, that's good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and run that. Just make sure you've selected that Android payload. Okay, so let's do an ls. We have our badandroid.apk file. Now to confirm that your Apache server is running, go ahead and open up your browser and just type in localhost. If your Apache server is not running, then you won't see this, but it is running. So I can see my files here. So that's the part. I'm going to do the part now where you can't see. But I'll walk you through what I'm doing. Let's see. I turned on my Android phone. I'm going to go ahead and type in my password because I've got a screen lock that's on it. I'm going to go ahead and go to my browser, and I'm going to scroll up a little bit so that I can see the URL bar, and I'm going to type in 192.168.6.66, which is the Kali machine. I'm going to hit go. And it's loading the page. Okay. And now I see the index of. It says index of. And I can also see the same thing. So this same screen that you see here, I can actually see it on my Kali machine. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just put my finger on there. It's going to go ahead and download that APK file. Alright, it has a little arrow, it's downloading, and the file size is only like 10K. It's super small. So that's downloaded. I'm going to go ahead and open that up. And I'm going to choose my package installer, so it's going to install the package. Alright, now it tells me the permissions. It actually shows a little Metasploit icon up there, but it tells me the permissions. It wants to it says access my phone. It can make phone calls, it can send text messages, it can read my contacts, edit my contacts, do all that sort of thing. So it has a lot of permissions that are in there. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on it anyways. Alright, now it's installed, so all I need to do is click open. And it's also placed a Metasploit icon on in my applications in my Android phone. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up. And as you can see there, it's sending the stage. Meterpreter session 1 opened. So since we have a Meterpreter session, keep in mind that when you have a Meterpreter session in Windows, when you have a Meterpreter session in Linux, or this Android Meterpreter session, we will have different options. So make sure that you use the question mark. And this will tell us all of the things that we can do. So webcam, we can record microphones, we can try and take a picture, we can try and do a webcam stream. We can still execute stuff. We can drop into a shell. We can do an ifconfig. So it's kind of interesting. Now, I'm not a phone person. I'm not a phone developer or anything like that. So I don't know much about the structure of the phone and everything. I know it's Linux based, but there's a bunch of stuff in there. Like I can do a PS, for example, and we can still list the processes that are running. I can do an LS, and it's got like a bunch of, well, it's hard to read there, but it's got like a bunch of jar files and all this other stuff. Not sure what that's all about. Not sure if that's because of what we're doing on here, because they kind of look funky, but anyhow. I can do a webcam underscore list. I believe that's the right command, maybe not. Oh, there it is. So back camera, front camera, which is true. I have a front camera and a back camera on that phone. And I don't think that all of this is functional, because like I said, it's still kind of experimental. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do we'll try to do a webcam snap. Don't know if it will work. We will try it though. And I have to choose the number. So I'm going to do a number 1. And so it gives me an error. You guys might get a different result, but I think it has to do with the version of Android that you're running. Or I could be doing something wrong. Like I said, I'm not a phone guy. I don't have a lot of experience exploiting phones, but we definitely had the option, and I thought it was kind of cool to just show you guys that we can do that. We can go ahead and download, we can edit files, we can upload files, we can still do our search, all the other commands that we have there. So it's pretty cool. Just wanted to show you guys I can do a sysinfo as well. Try and get the information. So Linux 3.0.72. It's an ARM Meterpreter. It's opened a Java Meterpreter session, or it's using Java for the Meterpreter session. So anyhow, guys, that's really all I wanted to show you. I don't have an iPhone, and I'm not sure if we can even do anything with iPhone, but I couldn't demonstrate that anyways. So, but just kind of give you another idea of the capabilities of what Metasploit can do. And like I said, it's still experimental. So as time goes on, I'm sure that they're going to develop more and more and more things that we can do. For example, the permissions, said I could make phone calls, and the permission said I can send text messages. I don't see any option in here to do so. But maybe that's something that they're looking into, so that'd be kind of cool too. Anyhow, guys, there is also, just as a side note, if you want to check out, there's the smartphone penetration testing framework by Georgia Weidman, and I think she's the founder of Bulb Security. So if you want to Google that, if you're interested in doing more phone stuff, I would recommend that. Anyways, talk to you guys later.